you got a moment right now, go ahead and click on the share button for this video, and let's talk about the business of art and how preparation is important, how other things come into play, and what they mean and what they're for. All right, so come on. There we go. So there we go. I'm here. This is DTM, and I'm gonna talk about a couple of things. Number one is preparation, right? When you think of your business, when you think of your art career, you have to keep in mind that art is a business. Let me fix this here a little bit. There we go. Art is a business, and you have to conduct yourself as a professional and a businessman. And you're not going to get the respect as a business if you don't get the fundamentals of business together. I'm gonna do a couple of drawing charts here that I'm gonna switch the camera for you, so we can all get a sense of what is going on and what I'm talking about. Let's see if I can zoom in. There we go. A little bit more. A little bit more. One more. Or two more. How about that? All right. Cool. So let's go ahead and get a layer and explain what I mean. So what do you mean, Dan? What is going on here? All right. Number one is education is very important. So you need to educate yourself. And but what do you educate yourself on? Well, we'll talk about that in a second. Education. Another one is talent. And the last one is your niche. So I have these conversations all the time where people have ideas for this big old business, and but they don't know the first thing about that business. And I'm like, well, when have you last worked in that industry? And they never have. Well, then how are you going to get educated on what this industry is about and develop your talent to build a business? I'm asked to do a lot of logos. I'm asked to do logos all the time. And one of the and so these business people, these business owners, they come out with the idea. They say, Dan, I want a logo. I want the logo to be like this and like that and so on. And then people are just going to buy my product. And I was like, what's your product? Well, it's going to be anything and everything. And so you have to find your niche. Like, what is your niche? What are you good at? What are you talking about? Is this luxury brand? Is that your niche? Are you a well-dressed person who has great fashion sense, or is the niche not fashion but functionality? And this is a real client I'm thinking of right now. Functionality. And so now we're talking apparel. That people in a particular industry are going to wear, and then your brand will grow and become a fashion icon. Where does it start? Which one are we starting with? And whichever one you choose, what do you know about it, and what are you good at dealing with that? So if we're talking about functionality, is the clothing exceptional and amazing and great for working out? Great, it feels great on the skin. It helps you keep the sweat off of you, etc. What are these major points that makes this this clothing functional and remarkable? Which then, by adding all these things together, that becomes what you're pitching and what you want to get known for. And as time goes on, people will turn it into a fashionable thing, and now you have all types of apparel and industry supporting you. All right, so what's an example of that? Nike and every other sports out there. Under Armour, right? I forget exactly how their logo goes, but that's another one. So what they started with was great shoes, great apparel, and then they brought in celebrities and endorsing the products. And then as time went on, it became a fashionable thing. So now you got people wearing all this apparel that don't even work out. Cool. Well, then that's how you start that off. But if you're all about fashion, then your clothing has to be so exceptional and clean, and people have to want to get it and use it and wear it. And so then it still has to do with high quality clothing, high quality design and fashion, and who is going to wear it? Who are the celebrities endorsing it and saying, "Yeah, you should wear this." There we go. That's a thumbs up, something like that. I don't even know. This is what you should wear. I endorse it. I'm telling you that that's good clothing. Um, um, so that's where the thought process begins, and you have to be really, really, really good and really, really aware and knowledgeable about the industry that you're entering. This weekend we had portfolio day at General Assembly with Artist King, and that's when we talked about talent. What does your talent say about you? Whatever it is that you're trying to enter, whatever market you're trying to come in and do, what is it that you have to offer to people that makes them believe in you and say, you know what, this person is worth it? And so then that's when the talent comes into play, right? And and uh, so let me write something else down. Opportunity. So then the talent says, I'm great at creating functional clothing. I'm great at creating fashionable stuff. And I'm just drawing weird stuff, right? So a big old hat and there you go. Some fashion. Let's pretend that looks like some fashion stuff. Or I'm good at drawing these kinds of things. And so the talent, you have to now show this talent by showing samples of your work and how well you're able to organize this work. Not only that, you're able to show the steps that it takes to you create that body of work. Because the more you can explain and break down about your process and your talent, the more people are going to be interested in working with you, because you have a process that's clear. You're able to communicate clearly, and that makes you more marketable. That's it. That's what the whole portfolio is about. So if you came to portfolio day, then you got some of this information. And if you're not seeking out other people who are in the industry and sharing free information like what we just did this weekend, including on Sunday, Alyssa Lewis had My Animation Life, and she had professionals discussing their process of getting into the particular industry. If you're not coming to these events, you're not getting this knowledge. You're not able to then apply this talent beyond just knowing how to draw. Just because you have a talent does not make you marketable. You have to understand how to structure your work, how to talk about your work, and how to get your work to reflect something about you. That then becomes what education is all about. And we stress this really, really hard. You have to understand what you need to, the things that you need to know that you don't know now. Education is what I needed in my life, in my art career, where after 10 years or 8 years of owning a tattoo shop, and then 2 years of learning how to run a tattoo shop, I got to a point where I stopped, and my education level did not allow me to see any more of what I needed to do to keep advancing my business. So I had to take a break and start learning about startups, start learning about entrepreneurship, start learning about business, start learning the fundamentals of how to pitch myself. Entrepreneurship, startups, business, and finding a mentor, and I have several, to explain this to me. Now, my process is in real life and in the real world with real people. Some people like to go to school. Fine. If you're going to go to school and take classes, it needs to have these things lined up as part of your curriculum. You need to reach out and find these people as it relates to you learning what you need to learn. And what's cool about school is that they put all that together in one big package and they say, here's what you need to learn. Here's what you need to know. However, there are many people I know who've been to school and they're not working in the field that they went to school for. So my way has always been to find different people to help me and learn several different things separately, and then I put it together and say, you know what, let me figure out a plan now. I'm going to put a plan together based on what I've learned and keep adjusting. When something doesn't work, I say, let's take that out and bring something else in. Let's adjust this part because this part did not work. Fine. Bring something else in. Talk to people, talk to your mentors, talk to artists in the industry. A mentor could be somebody else in the art industry who's further ahead of you. When you start looking at an artist who's doing well, meaning they have a great IG following, maybe in that social media, right? That's one thing, Facebook followers or whatever. That's cool, but when you see that their portfolio is in order, when you see that their postings on social media is about their successes and how many clients they're working with and where they are and what they're doing, then you start paying attention, saying, well, what is this artist doing? What's their website look like? What does their portfolio look like? Where do they hang out? I'm drawing right now on the Surface Pro, right? 4. It's 2 years old. It still works really well, and I like it. Brand new was around $2,000. Right now, you could probably get one for a good $1,500 with these specs. All right, you know how much this machine? This is going to be called right here gear or tools. All right, so a Surface Pro is $1,500, or is 1,500 Cokes, or 150 6-packs, or 1,500, because the way I like to eat and the way I like to hang out, 15 dates, or 30 club nights. Or, you understand, these are the things that a professional or somebody who's serious about their career stops doing because they're interested in investing this money, investing this time into the devices or the tools and gear that's going to help the artist succeed or the business person succeed. You stop worrying about what all these things are and what's out there and start focusing on the things that you need to do. And you start paying attention to the other artists who are out there making it happen. And you start seeing and you pay attention to the different things they got going on and dissecting and saying, well, what do they have that I can apply for myself in my career? And that's how I've been doing it. That's what I've been doing all this time. And not just learning the education of entrepreneurship and business and learning how to pitch and how to talk about myself, but also figuring out what other artists are doing and how it works for them. And here's one of the things that I've been using a lot and that you're watching this right now, Facebook Live. How many of you are out here with a great portfolio, with big dreams? How many out here showing your work? How many of you out here are showing your work and then grabbing some of that video and posting it on YouTube and sharing it with the world? How many of you are showing your process? How many of you are showing the artwork that you create and what it means? Sharing your themes. Sharing your purpose for being an artist. How many of you out there doing that? And if you're not applying some of these things that are available to all of us, because right now you have a computer somewhere, or you have a device, a tablet, a laptop of some kind, and let me double check my sound. Some of you have all these things, and that's exactly what you need to let me change camera microphone, sorry. Everybody has what they need to also apply some of these things here. And when we had the portfolio day, we shared links online of where you can build a portfolio for free and show your work. When you move, the sound goes in and out. Sorry about that. Thank you, Daphne. I'm drawing on the Surface Pro 4, and this is a Surface pen. And I have a grip that I added myself. So those are the things that that are part of education. And every artist needs to educate themselves on what other artists are doing and what are the things that they need to learn, and find a mentor, someone who can show you and give you the guidance that you need to move on to the next step. The next thing I'm going to talk about is opportunity. Opportunity is everywhere. But if you've not done any of these things of figuring out your education, not figured out how to build your talent, not figured out where is your niche, not figured out what are your goals, what do you want in life, not figured out how to negotiate, then an opportunity is nothing to you. It means nothing, because you will come across the person whom you need to be able to tell exactly what you do. And if you don't know how to say it, they're going to end up wondering, what the hell are you talking about? What is this person talking about? I meet lots of artists like this, who you ask them one or two questions, and they have a long dialogue about what they're saying, what they're doing, and what they're thinking. And all of it is jumbled. It all means a bunch of weird stuff. And like, well, I'm an artist, so I understand you. I can take a couple of points out of here and say, yeah, that makes sense, that makes sense, that makes sense. But overall, it's like, I can't work with this person. I cannot, this person needs a whole lot of adjusting and taking everything they're saying and outlining into a nice and clean way of explaining stuff. And it's happened to me. Unfortunately, I've had my moments where the opportunity was there and I needed my pitch. That's right, elevator pitch. Be clear. And I had my moment where I could just have said 2 sentences or a few words and got my point across. And maybe I get that person to see, bam, oh yes, this is the guy I need. And I missed it. And I still think about some of those moments, because I know that person was in a position that to then take me to the next step up and the next step up. And right now, one of the things that you're doing is, by structuring what you're saying and having a picture or having a way to explain what you do, you're looking to step up your game one step at a time. At the end of these steps, you have goals. You have all these goals and everything that you want to do with your life and how you want to live your life, and that's great, right? Well, you have vision. This big vision. And this big vision tells you what you want this world to be about for yourself. But these goals are each of these steps. They're going to help you get up to reach your vision. And so being organized and ready for that opportunity is very important. Last thing I'm going to say, and actually I will talk about the goals part. But the last thing I'm going to say is about negotiation. You can have the greatest talent in the world. You can have You can have the greatest connections in the world, awesome people around you, have lots of money, but if you don't know how to negotiate, you're going to be poor the whole time and struggle and suffer. And negotiation means that knowing when to say no, knowing when to say yes, and knowing when to say maybe, let's talk about it. And when it's maybe let's talk about it, it's because you want to outline some of the steps that it's going to take for you to do the job and get paid for the job. No is when you know you have to stand either on the price or the type of job that it is and what they want out of you. Just because you're an artist doesn't mean you take on every job that has to do with art. There are some things you need to pass on to somebody else to handle it for you, or somebody else to do the work and get paid for it. And you move on with focusing on the projects that you want to do. A lot of times it's about the favor, another favor, and another favor. And eventually you're like, well, when are this favors going to turn into some money for me? And if I keep doing these favors, when am I going to get to where I make money and this relationship turns into something fruitful? And just because you feel the pinch of having to pay bills and that you need to pay rent, that is not the reason to just take on an artist job. Because then the rent comes along, bills comes along every month. And so you cannot spend your whole life chasing clients and jobs to just get by. And that's where that whole mentality of the starving artist comes into play. Where somehow, because you have this gift and talent, that you should be able to draw and create on the cheap, because you have this talent that allows your work to not be work but fun. And because you know how to do this thing, then now you don't deserve to get paid real money and a real wage. Well, that's wrong. So the easiest way to get past that is start saying no. No, I can't work for less than a certain amount of money. No, I can't take your project that is going to demand so much out of my time that I can't do other things. And then it's still at the end of your project, I still don't have enough to pay my bills. And so you establish first, what is the budget that you need per month? What is the budget that you need per week? And then you start breaking that down, saying, okay, if a project takes me 2 days, then I need a certain amount of money for that. If a project takes me 1 week, then I need a certain amount of money for that. And you say no until you get those numbers. Negotiation. You do not get paid what is fair. You do not get paid your value. You get paid what you negotiate. And that's why we have designers in this world who charge thousands of dollars for a logo. No is a complete sentence. That's right. As a writer, it's the same way, and you're accurate. It is wrong. Correct. Thank you, Daphne. So there it is. Opportunity and actually success is when preparation meets opportunity. You have preparation and opportunity, and in the middle is success. And you can call that, go like this, do some circles. And what do you do to prepare? All those things that I just outlined. Not only that, you need to get into the practice of creating every day. Do not think that that opportunity is going to come along where they're going to snatch you out your house and say, hey, here's some money. Let's do those drawings that you were talking about doing. Don't talk about the drawings you want to do. Get to drawing them right now. Work on those right now. Produce every day. Don't work for free for somebody else. Work for free for yourself. But even when you work for free, it builds up your portfolio. It builds up your practice. It builds up your process, so that when that opportunity comes around, say, here's a bunch of money and we need you to do it that particular way because we love the way you do it. That is the key to this. That then turns it into a success. The preparation, constant preparation. Prepare, prepare, prepare. And if you're not preparing right now by education, all the other things that I outlined a second ago, education, negotiation, talent, niche, and goals, then you're not going to be ready for that opportunity and turn it into a success. The last thing I'm going to say here, I'm kind of just jumping around. I love what you're drawing. I'm going to get one for your mom. Yes, get it. They're awesome. $1,500. There's other tablets and machines out there. This one's a Dell. And you probably could find one now much cheaper. But this one's a little old. In any case, it draws well still, though. You can still draw on it. The last thing is have a vision. But not just a vision by itself. You need the steps to come down from that. Goals. Plans. And all of it builds up off of your schedule. How do you live your life every day? What you do with your time is gonna have a lot to do whether or not you're able to reach your goals and live your vision. This is the life you want. These goals are things you have to achieve, and plans are what you have to work out. That's it. That's how it works. The company reached out to you to speak and lead a workshop at their organization, and you asked their budget, and they said, whatever your request, we will fundraiser to get you there, Daphne. Word up. That's cool. That's how you do it. In the conversation and the discussion of somebody's project or idea, there should always be the question of what is your budget? How much do you intend to pay for to spend on this? And let's jump into that for a second. That's negotiation. Somebody says to you, I had this big, great business going to make $1 million, millions and millions and millions. And I need you to come up with the design, the drawing, the logo that is going to then take this to the top. Bam. Big time. And you say, oh, that's great. That's awesome. And then you say, well, how much do you wish to what's your budget for your logo? And they say, oh, well, it's only $25. It's crazy. $50. I get these little low numbers. Oh, I can get a logo for $99 online. So you're telling me that your business right now is worth investing into only $100 worth, but it's going to somehow make millions and millions of dollars. Is that what you're saying? Because if that's what you think, then that's not the person I want to be in business with. And do not work for this amounts of money right here. If you want something that's going to reflect this kind of value, this kind of brand, this kind of impact, we're going to have to put a whole lot of work together. There's going to be a process about it. There's going to be a discussion about it. There's going to be a couple meetings about it. And all of that is going to add up. And at the end of the day, my bill for this kind of work is going to take a whole lot of time and money to make it happen. So negotiation is key. In the past, I didn't know my own worth and work for free, but no more. I'm worth trillions of dollars. That's right, Daphne. And sometimes you do work for somebody for free, right? But it's not free. I was watching this TV show called Episodes, and it had Matt LeBlanc of the Friends, one of the actors of the Friends TV shows from a long time ago. And he was at a place where they were giving away a bunch of stuff, and it was free, so-called. So him and this lady were walking around all these tables. They had all these tables with things to give away to these actors. And every time a table gave the actor something, and there's the lady right there, every time the table gave the actor something, they asked to take a picture of him with the product. So so then one of the things he said was, see, these things are not free. That's right. They may say free, but they're not free, because these companies are getting their endorsement of this actor for this product at the price of the value of the product they're giving away. So when you're an artist and you're starting out, you don't work for free. There may be no money at this time. So no money for your piece of artwork, right? Your logo and whatnot. But instead, what you're getting is access to other clients, access to an event, introductions. Maybe it's a collaboration project that then becomes part of your portfolio, becomes part of your resume, and you get to show that off in some kind of way or the other. That's where the value of doing something, then it's okay for there to be no money, but the value of what you get in return is a lot greater than that. So just to finish this off, I am going to tell you that you have to live your life right now. Incorporate the things that you see in your vision. If in your vision you have an art studio and you draw every day, then you need to draw every day. You want to draw all day long, 24 hours a day? Cool. Right now you got to work, you have responsibilities. Work a little bit every day, just a little bit. Add that into your calendar, just a little bit. If in the future you want to draw comics, and we're going to pretend those are comic panels, then you need to start drawing comic panels right now. If in the future you want to be a writer and write books, you need to start writing those books right now. Do not wait for the day where there's money, like, oh, I'm paid to do these things now. Well, you won't get to that point where you get paid for these things if you don't get into the practice of doing those things right now. If you got to start working on these projects, you got to start creating these things right now. If you want to get paid to draw logos in the future, and that's your vision, then you need to start drawing logos right now. Nobody's paying you for any of these things. Nobody's paying you to do comics right now, but you're going to do comics right now. Nobody's paying you to draw every day right now, but you're going to start drawing every day right now. And you get into that practice, into that flow. You get into that rhythm. You get into where you start creating these things. You start creating these things, these processes every day in your life, to where you understand even how long it takes to do a comic book. How long it takes to do a logo project, how long it takes to write that book. And then and you start sharing your experiences online so that other people can see that you actually have talent and you know what you're talking about. And next thing you know, you start having people throwing money at you and saying, hey, work on our project for us. Work on our project for us. I get these conversations all the time with people I know, and I'm like, well, you need to call me, man. You need to let me know what you're working on. And they say, oh, you're always working. I can't afford you. Well, I'm glad they feel that way. I'm glad they feel that they're going to have to, when they talk to me, they're going to have a stack of cash. Because this is the business that I'm in. This is the work that I want to do. My vision for my life is to create nonstop and get paid for it. And live that life that I want to live, with vacations, with material things, with family, with friends, with events, with learning, with community. All those things is what I want my life to be about. And if this and it has to get paid some kind of way, and it gets paid through my talent and developing all these things right now in my calendar. This is the calendar. This is your calendar. Everybody has 24 hours a day. You have the same advantage of your time as the next person. The resources are what you have to battle through. But if you get into this process, get into that practice, and start working on that schedule to set into motion your plans, to work them out into your schedule, you will start reaching your goals. achieving your goals to then live that life that you want. All right, so what I want you to know after today is to go ahead and review this video. Get what you can out of it. Visit artisking.org events. And we have lots of classes and workshops. We just did the portfolio day the other day at General Assembly, where we talked about the importance of the portfolio and what your portfolio should have. We had professionals who hire artists and recruit artists and pay artists for their artwork, explaining to us what it is that they look for in a portfolio. You need to come to these events to get the education of what you need to help your career succeed. That's it. The information is free. Thank you, Daphne. That's right. Artistking.org events. Yes. You have the same 24 hours that Janet Jackson, J.Lo, Oprah, Beyonce, and Ellen. That's right. I think Oprah and Beyonce, they have extra people to help them do other stuff that they don't do, so it saves them time to do other things. But no matter what, they had to. Beyonce has to do the dance moves herself. Janet Jackson has to do the dance moves herself, and they have to sit there in the studio, working out in the gym, dancing in the studio to get the moves to the point where they can then charge thousands and thousands of dollars in world tours for people to come and see them perform. They invest just the same, and you have the option to invest just the same. All right. Artistking.org events. Check out some of these videos that I'm producing and streaming. And then check out some of my work at Vector Maestros. We have YouTube, and then Delta Tango Mike for more of my work. And you'll see how much work I produce all the time. And let me tell you, that is all practice. I don't draw just to draw every day, nonstop. I draw to draw every day because that's what I enjoy doing. I draw all the time, every day. And then, bam, somebody throws money at me, and I'm like, cool, well, now I'm drawing for money. And then, okay, I take a break. I draw for myself. And then, bam, somebody throws money at me, and I draw, and then I draw for myself and money, and so on. And that's the combination of how I live my life. And I'm able to pick up and draw for this money and not miss a beat into my workflow, not miss a beat into my talent and my skills, because I'm in the constant practice of drawing every day. Artist King has a YouTube channel, Art is King. And we also have Instagram, YouTube, and on iTunes. On iTunes, we have a big long list of interviews that we've done with artists. They talk about their life, they talk about their process, they talk about what they've done, they talk about how they got to where they're going and the lessons that they learned along the way. So you want to check that out. That's on iTunes. Last thing I'm going to tell you is to keep track, to subscribe. Art is King, again, the website .org. Subscribe to the newsletter, to the email, because starting next month we're going to do some live streaming podcast, and we're gonna sit in the studio with artists who are gonna draw, gonna talk about their life, talk about their experience, talk about their lessons, and we're gonna sit there and share it all online. All right. Thank you, everybody. I write, I speak, I brand, I write for myself, and then I get paid to write, brand, and speak. That's right, bam. That is correct. This needs to be your schedule. This needs to be your schedule. Draw, get paid, draw, get paid, draw, get paid, draw, get paid, draw. Whatever it is that you're about, whatever it is that you're doing, whatever it is, if you're a writer, if you're a painter, a designer, you want to get paid to design posters, you need to design posters every day. Design them, because nobody, even though no one is paying you. But the more posters you design, the better you get at it, the better your design style looks, the better your skills look, the faster you become at doing posters, so that when somebody throws money at you, you're like, yeah, I can knock that out. And then somebody else throws money at you, you're like, yeah, I'll knock that out. And then and they're gonna start coming at you because they're gonna see that your portfolio is just building up, getting bigger and better and better and better. There you go. All right, so that's my podcast for today. I'm gonna that's my stream for today. For right now, I have others that I want to talk about. I'm gonna come back and talk about my experience with my 365 Draw Daily 2017. I finished that, and it looks like Sean Russell says I'm looking for work. So Sean, I do one-on-one FB live stream biz coaching. So I think we need to have a session because I've seen some of your work and you're amazing, and we have to have a process of how we do this looking for work. How do we, the mental attitude that we have to take when you're trying to build your business, and if talent is not the problem with you, then it's the other parts that we just discussed in this video. So let's take a time to talk about that, and then jump on Facebook Live to handle it. So the next Facebook Live I do is going to be up on my Draw Daily. I'm going to talk about this here process of drawing every day, and what I learned from it and what I want to talk to you about. So go ahead and check us out online. I'll talk to you later. This is DTM. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you for your comments. And I'll see you soon.